Good morning, welcome back to Northwest Propshafts. Today we've got one for the classic car people, so let's go and have a look. So today we've got a classic car in. We've got a Mercedes Sprinter here from yesterday. That's a whole other story, which I might post some pictures of, but that's something for another day. So here we go, we've got a Triumph TR7. What a lovely looking car that is, isn't it? So the customer has modified this vehicle slightly and upgraded the engine. So he's having a few issues with balance. So let's have a quick look underneath here, see what we've got. So we're under here now. We'll have a look at this prop shaft. First thing we notice, this is the front of the vehicle here. Got a little bit of a transmission leak there, which we'll tell the customer about. And this is the front of the vehicle, and this is a sliding shaft. If you notice here on the front, it doesn't slide there. This prop shaft slides at the rear. There's a sliding section. Now that's not necessarily a big problem. Just working as standard, we'd rather have this sliding section at the front. This tends to be the highest point. So we have this at the highest point so that if any water gets on it, the water would run away from the sliding section. If the water is running this way, the water can get inside the sliding section. There is a seal here, but sometimes that seal fails. So it's just working practice to keep the sliding section at the highest point. That's how you generally have them. It's not a necessity, but while we're doing it, we'll put that on. Just have a quick look at the prop shaft. There's a bit of rotation in the diff. Not much we can do about that. But on this end, we've got, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a clicking noise that's coming from this universal joint, has got end float in it. So we'll get this prop shaft off, we'll have a look at it and see if there's anything else that we can find. So the prop shaft's off, it's in the vise. We're just going to have a quick check out. So we'll check the universal joint at this end. And there's a clicking noise. Definitely something wrong inside that universal joint. Okay, so we'll check the sliding section at this end. Rotation. Little bit of movement there, rotation wise. The click there. Let's have a look at the universal joint. Universal joint actually looks all right. It looks like a lot of the movement on this side. Let's see if we can get that clicking noise. So I think that clicking noise is the obviously the sliding section. So sliding section and universal joint. So we'll have a look through that, speak to the customer, see what he wants to do, and then go from there. So the prop shaft is now off. We've got the diff flange and the gearbox flange. Where is it? There we go. So just a quick check on the diff flange, how we measure them again. So the information we need to know is the outside diameter. There we go, 97 mil. The location in the middle, there, 60 mil, and the PCD. So these are the 4 holes that this vehicle uses. So for ease of PCD, you can do it a couple of ways. Oh. So measure from the outside of the bolts to the outside of the bolts, and then take away 1 bolt width. Oh look, my battery's running out on my vernier. So that's to measure a PCD, or you can go from the inside of one hole to the outside of another hole, like that. That measures the PCD, and then we need to know the bolt size. So these are on 10 mil bolts. So we've got outside, inside location, outside, inside location, PCD, and bolt size. So, measuring the prop shaft, just simple, from this face here, all the way up to this face here. That's the length of the prop shaft. We call that the working length in a working position, because that's how it sits on the vehicle. We allow for any movement needed, but there's not a great deal of movement on this, but we would allow for any movement. So that's called the working position. From this flange face here, down to this flange face here. So the prop shaft is in. 2 new universal joints. And a new sliding section going in. So this is going off in for balancing and checking, and then we'll spray it and put it back on the vehicle. So just while this prop shaft's going through the workshop, I thought I'd show you a little bit of the car itself. It's a lovely looking car, ex-racing car. So on the interior it's got, you can see through the back, have a look inside there. Roll cage. So I think this customer used to race this. These TR7s were initially built up in Speke, up in Liverpool, but I think this one, with having the bump on the front, although I might be wrong about this, I think this was built in Coventry probably. They moved down to Coventry in the late 70s. So they were built between 75 and 81, 82, somewhere around about there. We used to have one of these in the family, so I know a little bit about them. But yeah, I think this was probably a Coventry built one by the looks of it. But it is a lovely vehicle, British Leyland, and us being up in Lancashire, built by British Leyland, and us being up in Lancashire, we're only about 3-4 miles away from Leyland, where the current DAF trucks are built. So we've got a big car heritage up in the northwest of England. It's a lovely looking vehicle, and I think this as well, the customer mentioned it's a V8, but I didn't see it pull in. I heard it, so it does sound like it's something big, but we'll maybe get a video of that later. Please remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell. Thank you very much. So the prop shaft's in place now, and we're going to weld it up. It's been prepped for welding. Are you welding it, Scott? Okay. There we go. All welded. So the prop shaft now go through for balancing and then spraying, and we'll put it back on the car. So the prop shaft now is going to be balanced. This is our initial imbalance. So we've got 19.8 degrees at 264 on the rear, 12.2 grams at 122 degrees on the front, and it shows us how far out of tolerance we are, 9.6 and 5.9. So we'll just, we've got a 20 gram weight going on the rear. And then 12.2, 122 degrees. So we're looking for the machine to go green. Oh, there we go. So intolerance on the front and the rear. And there we go, all balanced, all happy, intolerance. So this tells us that we're intolerance of G16 balance grade. So that prop shaft's finished now, balanced. It's going to be taken off the machine and off for spraying. We'll spray it and then fitted back to the vehicle. Okay, so the prop shaft is back on now. We've moved the sliding section to the gearbox end, so it's working downhill. There we go, all painted, all new, all bolted back on. So as I mentioned, it allows any liquid to roll downhill, because this is slightly angled down to the diff. So any liquid that gets around here will roll away from this sliding section. So it doesn't interfere with the sliding section, keeps water out of it. These are greasable universal joints, so they can be maintained from time to time. It's not worth doing every few weeks. It's the sort of thing that you do on your MOT check. Although these vehicles now aren't liable for MOT anymore, I believe, under classics. So it is worth checking every now and then the universal joints for grease and anything else on the vehicle when you're checking your levels, your oil levels and such. So we'll take this vehicle out of the pit now. There we go. I think it has got the V8 in it. It certainly likes that. Let's get this out of here. So that's the Triumph TR7 done and ready for the customer. Nice little, lovely little vehicle. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? So thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, please ask, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.